Alright, so I'm talking to you. Okay, cool. How do I look? Camera ready?
Rolling!
Nice.
Sound speeds.
Camera speeds. 2. Awesome. Take 2.
And action!
Sure thing. So Benson is a story of Kaylie and her friends and their camera trip goes a little bit wrong. It's basically a short film that I've been serving as director and producer on for the last 23 months, and I've kind of worked with a fantastic crew of like students and like recent graduates to kind of create this kind of semi-independent, semi-student film. It's been a fair few challenges, but it's been lots of fun, and we hope that when it's done, people really enjoy it. Yeah, so sure. So essentially what happens in this story is it's a summer holiday, so Kaylie and her two friends, Abby and Kyle, they decide to go camping together, and it kind of gets to about sunset, it's like 8-9 o'clock at night, and so it's kind of a customary, and they decide, hey, let's tell scary stories to each other for the fun of it. And so they go ahead and do that, and they basically tell a story about this demon Rottweiler called Benson, which is where the name kind of comes from, and they all have like different iterations of how this story pans out. So Kyle starts that he's not too much of a serious character, so he tends to make his friends laugh more than scare them, and so when Kaylie kind of sees that she takes over, she's a lot more imaginative and impulsive. She doesn't think as much before she acts, and she's probably had a bit too much sugar, her parents aren't around, so she gets a bit carried away and gets really into it, and she kind of makes it her mission to sort of push her friends button and like really scare them, which is all fun for her. But then Kyle gets really scared because he thinks that this demon dog is going to come and eat him alive, and he runs off into the forest, and so then Kaylie and Abby have to actually go and find him, and then kind of through this process with the help of Abby, Kaylie starts to think about her actions a little bit more, so we kind of follow her coming of age journey. She sort of learns what it means to be more emotionally intelligent. Like most creative projects, it's come from multiple inspirations, but sort of the main sort of inspiration of the story is kind of based on a bit of a true story. So when I was Kaylie's age in year 6, me and my best friend at the time, Josh, we basically, all our class went on this kind of big residential trip for 5 days. We went to Wales to basically celebrate that we'd finished our SATs, and it's to kind of make some memories before we went up to the big scary world of secondary school. I was really excited. Me and Josh were all like, we loved independence, we loved being adventurous, so going away for 5 days was really exciting for us. But for our roommates, it was a lot more harder. They found it quite difficult. They got homesick quite a lot, and being the insensitive young lads that we were, instead of sort of being empathetic good friends and making them feel better about being homesick, we decided to make it worse. So we basically worked together to tell a story about this demon Rottweiler called Benson, which is where it came from, and basically, long and the short of it, this dog was going to come and eat all our roommates, so we weren't going to get home and see their parents ever again. It really upset our roommates and made them all cry. We didn't think about it that way, we just wanted to have fun and scare them a little bit because we didn't really know how to handle them being homesick. We just thought, oh, let's wind them up more, it'll be fine. Obviously, when you're a young child, you don't know any better, and it's the same with Kaylie. She's not a bad girl, we weren't bad boys, she just didn't really know any better, and so she tells this story, and it has consequences. We upset our friends and we got in a lot of trouble for doing that, and you know, we learned a lesson, we apologised to our friends, it was all fine. And it's kind of the same with Kaylie's story. She doesn't realise that, you know, this story she's telling has impact on her friends, she just wants to have a good time. So they're kind of putting the narratives to basically remind children that all your actions have consequences. It's okay to make mistakes, but if you don't think before you act, sometimes things go wrong, and in this case, Carl runs off into the forest and gets lost, and then they have to find her, which kind of ruins their camping trip a little bit. So that was basically sort of where it came from. Yeah, so it takes part in kind of 2 different worlds, but it's not quite as complicated as it might seem. So it's basically, the main film itself is 3D CG animation, but it also has this alternate world that's in 2D animation. This is the main difference of animation, and one thing I wanted to do when I kind of made this film was find a way to merge more than one animation style together. So basically what happens is when Kaylie is telling this story, or when any of her friends telling this story, instead of just seeing the characters tell their story for like 2.5 minutes, we actually see what's happening in their story in a sort of alternate 2D world, so it makes it a bit more engaging and easier to follow sort of like what's going on.